You found me! It's been a year since the opening of this department, and instead of just visiting, I practically reside in it now. Oops. You gotta wonder, will I disagree or concur? Because it's deep dive time! Let's go. Mic's on, hot takes ahead, big bombs, bigger brain threads. First play, are you all aboard? Welcome to the track record. Let's have some fun now. Alright, who is Taylor Swift really? By 2025, you've seen her name in headlines and streamed her albums 1,000 times. So let's cut through the noise. Taylor isn't just a songwriter or a singer. She's a time-traveling grief archivist. Her entire discography? A museum of almosts and what-ifs, where every lyric is a petal pressed in resin, preserved, pristine, and ready to stab you when you least expect it. From the debut self-titled to Tortured Poets, her mission is clear: to bottle love's chaos before it evaporates. Think of her as the human ambassador of heartbreak. She's been the one falling in love, the one pulling away, and the one who's being left behind. And through each twist, she maps out how a broken heart unsettles your sense of self, wraps your perception of time, but ultimately transforms you. It's devastating, yes, but also a process. Taylor doesn't just document the pain, she shows us how to rebuild our pieces with grace. And at her core, it's love that's her muse. Love is faded chemical spark we never quite understand, but she captures it, names it, preserves it. Maybe one day, when she looks back, the petals she's tucked away will bloom with new meaning. She began as a big sister, the friend we whispered our secrets to, and that, dear listener, is Taylor Swift. Really. Alright, let's zoom out for a second and set the stage for the Tortured Poets department, because this is the album that I absolutely love, but it's not arriving in vacuum. By 2024, the world felt like it was teetering on the edge. Election year jitters had everyone clutching their ballots or their pitchforks. Authoritarian whispers grew louder, and the Twitter mobs of young men sneered at girls who listened to Taylor Swift, branding a fandom as a frivolous distraction from the real issues. DEI programs quietly died in boardrooms, even as inequality raged outside the class towers. On the streets, climate strikes merged with class justice protests, renters and retail workers chanting that the wealthy must finally foot the climate bill. Through that chaos, Taylor Swift was everywhere. The Eras Tour wasn't just a concert, it was a global seismic event. Stadiums from Seoul to Paris all filled up. Hotel rooms vanished, economies boomed, and the phrase, "Did you get the Eras ticket?" became the ultimate status symbol. But Swift wasn't just selling out arenas, she was rewriting the rulebook. Remember her master's battle? When Scooter Braun's private equity outfit bought her first 6 albums, she refused to stay silent. Instead, Taylor grabbed her guitar and re-recorded Taylor's version, taking back ownership and becoming the blueprint for artist empowerment. I know you people are annoyed by it, but this is why it happened. Then came the AMC mic drop. No studio middleman, just the Eras Tour film, smashing opening weekend records and proving her fan base would follow her anywhere, even the multiplex. And yes, she hit the billionaire status thanks to the blockbuster tours, streaming windfalls, and her relentless Taylor's version hustle. She donates to disaster relief and education, but critics still clutch their pearls at her private jets. A 9-figure net worth, rightfully so. It's trickle-down feminism for her. Empower one superstar woman while the rest of us still grapple with wage gap and carbon footprints. The irony? In the world demanding systemic change, Taylor's individualism feels both revolutionary and insufficient at the same time. Then came the SpeakUpNow saga. Fans didn't want Taylor just to call out bad dates. They demanded woke accountability. A reassurance that their icon wasn't unimpeachably virtuous. It came with vitriol. But let's be real, ostracizing a woman for man's bad choices, that's peak misogyny. You don't fall in love after a LinkedIn-style background check if this person is cancelable or not, and you sure don't get graded on your partner's screw-ups, right? Dating cannot be equated to condoning behavior, especially when she's saying, I can fix him. No, I really can. Just wait. I mean, clownery gold? But for once, she doesn't care about the backlash and sadly had her heart broken again. There was no explanation though. She's done doing that. Instead, she handed us Tortured Poets Department, a glitter-dusted dumpster fire of confessions, contradictions, and sharp edges. Love here isn't a fairy tale. It's a grenade lobbed into a glass house. And let's not forget the Vienna terror scare, a chilling reminder that public life can be perilous, even for a superstar, even for a fandom just for girls. Taylor pressed on though, turning fear into fuel for her art. So here we stand on the brink of Tortured Poets Department, a world convulsing with political backlash, climate justice fervor, and parasocial yearnings. And a poet at its center, daring us to embrace the messiness. But wait, before you cue up the album, let's talk about the most Swiftian flex of all, capitalistic greed. Multiple versions of Tortured Poets Department? Check. K-pop style rollout with collector's edition, lyric cards and Easter eggs for hardcore fans? Double check. Yes, she's playing the game like anyone else, and maybe better. But it stings when a work meant to be savored slowly is spat out in 31-song gluttony in one go. As a diehard Swiftie, I'll admit, it took me 8 months to listen all the way through in one sitting, and I'm still untangling some of these tracks. That scattershot roll around did not favor the critical reception whatsoever. But in my books, this is one of her most beautifully written albums. People say it needed editing. I don't think it did. People just don't want to read that much anymore. And let's be real, a lot of pushback isn't about the music. It is misogyny at its finest. Reading comprehension and critical thinking seem in short supply these days, and willful misinterpretation is like a favorite pastime of folks these days. At the same time, I do believe in constructive criticism. I mean, we could have done away without that we declared Charlie Puth should be a bigger artist. I mean, better would have been saying that Charlie XCX should have been a bigger artist. We had one other Charlie to talk about. But OMG, I digress. But the difference here is that constructive criticism pushes her to do better, not to deny her the chance to rock an album she said she never desperately needed songwriting at a moment in life more than this. So let's savor what we get like good kids. No disdain required, just full throttle fandom for this beauty. All of this, the political storm, the billionaire paradox, the parasocial intensity, and the capitalistic overdrive, sets the stage for how we dive into the Tortured Poets Department. Before we dive into the thematic analysis of this album, let me explain why so many listeners, especially those new to the Taylor Swift lore, were left blinking at the Tortured Poets Department. We all thought we'd just get an intimate deep dive on Joe, with Matty as a cameo. Instead, Taylor handed us a declaration of war in the most poetic form possible, a piece meant to reframe the entire album. And honestly, I'm glad I discovered it after the standard edition, because reading it first would have spoiled every wait a moment, did she really say that? So here's the poem. This is Taylor Swift, in summation for TTPD. At this hearing, I stand before my fellow members of the Tortured Poets Department with a summary of my findings, a debrief, a detailed reminding, for the purpose of warning, for the sake of reminding. As you might all unfortunately recall, I had been stuck with a case of restricted humanity, which explains my plea here today of temporary insanity. You see, the pendulum swings. Oh, the chaos it brings leads the caged beast to do the most curious things. Lovers, stylized as the Lover album, spent years denying what's ill-fated, resentment rotting away galaxies we created. Stars placed and glued meticulously by hand next to the ceiling fan, tried wishing on the comets, tried dimming the shine, tried to orbit his planet. Some stars just never align. And in one conversation, I tore down the whole sky. Spring sprung forth with dazzling freedom hues. then a crash from the skylight. Bursting through something old, someone hallowed, who told me he could be brand new. And so I was, out of the oven and into the microwave, out of the slammer and into a tidal wave. How gallant to save the Empress from her gilded tower, swinging a sword he could barely lift. But loneliness struck at the fateful hour, low-hanging fruit on his wine-stained lips. He never even scratched the surface of me. None of them did. In summation, it was not a love affair. I screamed while bringing my fists to my coffee-ringed desk. It was a mutual manic phase. It was self-harm. It was house and then cardiac arrest. A smirk creeps onto the poet's face because it's the worst men that are right the best. And so I enter the evidence. My tarnished coats of arm, my muses acquired like bruises, my talismans and charms, the tick, tick, tick of love bombs, my veins of pitched black ink, all's fair in love and poetry. Sincerely, the chairman of the Tortured Poets Department. That was the gag of the century. When Taylor opens with "at this hearing," she's not inviting sympathy so much as putting us on trial ourselves, casting us as both jury and judge in her plea of temporary insanity. She wants us to shift through the evidence before delivering a verdict of her love life. From there, she unleashes the caged beast of emotion, the pendulum swinging between safe affection and wild obsession, dramatizing the toxic rebound until something finally snaps. She then paints a cosmic construction, galaxies and stars they painstakingly glued together, only to watch it all collapse in a single conversation that shatters their shared universe. Next, Taylor flips the kitchen metaphor from oven to microwave, contrasting slow-cooked devotion with instant scorching heat of betrayal. She casts herself as an empress ensnared in a gilded tower, waiting for a knight, only to find bumbling squire swinging a sword he can't even lift. A tragic parody of rescue fantasies gone wrong. In naming their spiral a mutual manic phase, she rejects any hero-villain narrative. This was a self-harm trouble they both bled through. And finally, with a knowing smirk at writing best about the worst men, Taylor embraces her scars as weapons in her arsenal, a triumph in writing pain that proves her darkest moments fuel her finest art. All these elements, trial and judgment, wild beasts, shattered constellation, rapid betrayals, tragic rescues, shared chaos, and creative triumph seamlessly intertwine to form the opening declaration of the Tortured Poets Department. With this out of the way, let's finally do the thematic analysis. And I hope you have that kind of realization first, that the slow cook was Joe Alvin and microwave was Matty Healy in this case. But Tortured Poet Department isn't just an album, it's an excavation site. These ain't just songs, they are artifacts of emotional architecture. Charred beams, cracked porcelain, and love letters. Scotched mid-sentence. The album isn't just about a heartbreak, it's about what's left behind when the romance ends and the myth of muse crumbles. At its core, TTPD is about agency in aftermath. How one woman buried under public scrutiny, parasocial obsession, and her own romantic idealism claws her way back to selfhood. Each song feels like a room in the same shattered house, and Taylor walks through them slowly, barefoot, reading the debris like tea leaves. But to understand TTPD, we need to break it into three blueprints. Three emotional zones where Taylor reclaims power on her own terms. The first is the myth of the muse. Here, Taylor confronts how she's been consumed romantically, culturally, and even commercially. These songs dissect what it means to be someone's inspiration while being denied full personhood. She's not just burnt out, she's a burnt offering at this point. Second is delusion as defense. In this zone, Taylor spirals willingly. The love is toxic, the man is a mirage, and the metaphors are nuclear. But there's power in romantic delusion. Let's her romanticize the fall, not just survive it. Here she chooses the chaos over clarity, not because she's confused, but because she's coping. and third would be the resurrection of self. These are the songs where Taylor stops whispering confessions and starts writing her own gospel, not to save anyone, not to be understood, but to finally feel real to herself. Grief becomes grit, closure becomes costume jewelry. She's rebuilding, not for applause, but for her own peace, finally speaking. And I do believe it's not about one song is about one thing or another. It could be a composite sketch. But here, threaded through each song is Taylor's fight for agency. Not perfection, not pity. Agency. Even when she's spinning in delusion, even when she's rewatching red flags like rom-com, she's narrating the story on her own terms. It's voice you use after the crying is done. Very messy, but undeniably her. TTPD doesn't often offer clear endings. It offers perspective. And in an era where women's narratives are always edited for clarity or palatability, Taylor's refusal to trim the excess is the point. She's not here to be digestible, and I love it. So let's finally get down to the track-by-track analysis of the Tortured Poets Department. Track 1, Fortnite. Fortnite doesn't just start the story, it drops us straight into the wreckage. I was supposed to be sent away, but they forgot to come and get me. We're not meeting her at the heartbreak, we are waking her up in the emotional aftermath. It's midnight's hangover in real time. Think Dear Reader's 4 drinks deep, now upgraded to functioning alcoholic, until no one notices. That's when the function stops. This isn't about aesthetic sadness though, it's grief wrapped in sarcasm. Aesthetic here isn't about Tumblr gore, it's about survival, about performing okayness until you can't. It's a callback to 1975. Whether it's alcohol, a person, or a memory, the addiction isn't romantic, it's lethal. Verse 2 trades one's vice for another. Miracle move on drug. The rebound, the rush. It's a metaphor for trying to restart your heart with a stand-in. But the battery dies fast, and heartbreak is just new packaging on an old wound. The chorus hits, I love you, it's ruining my life. That is the thesis of this song. This isn't about falling in love, it's about falling through it, into self-destruction. Visually, the music video throws her into a dreamscape asylum. Wedding dresses, handcuffs, Post Malone in rotating roles. In the final shot, she stands on a British phone booth in rain, not calling for help, but shielding it. That's the metaphor. She's not asking to be rescued. She's protecting her pain. She's owning it. And why Fortnite? Because what once felt infinite now shrinks in hindsight. A 2-week flash, a timeshare in delusion. It's over, but the ache lingers. The key lyric here is, as I said, I love you, it's ruining my life. That's not a hyperbole, it's the emotional thesis. She's not asking for pity, she's naming the thing that's eating her alive. And agency on Fortnite isn't about healing, it's about taking inventory. The addiction didn't break her, not being seen did. Track 2, The Tortured Poets Department. This is Taylor at her most meta, rolling her eyes while holding her own heart in the hand. It's not just about the self-mythology, it's self-parody, aimed squarely at the man who romanticized chaos while self-sabotaging the intimacy. You left your typewriter at my apartment isn't just a jab, it's a full-blown side-eye to the pretentious poetry boys who confuse emotional unavailability with depth. The whole track plays like a relationship autopsy delivered with a smirk. You're not Dylan Thomas, I'm not Patti Smith, this ain't the Chelsea Hotel. Translation? You're not a tortured genius, babe. You're just bad at commitment. And she knows it. And what's wild? She still chooses him. I choose this cyclone. She sees the storm, as she said. She walks into it anyway. That's not delusion. It's controlled surrender at this point. The bridge shatters the sarcasm though. You took my ring off my middle finger and put it on the one where people put the wedding rings on. Suddenly, this isn't parody. It's a funeral of fantasy. That's the moment of intimacy, of almost, of maybes, but where it becomes the sharpest loss of all. That's the closest I have come to my heart exploding. She's not writing a love song anymore. She's writing love's ghost, and it's haunting. Agency is her realizing and saying that I wasn't fooled. It's her saying she chose this, eyes wide open. She is not asking for pity. She's recording the damage and publishing the report for all of us to see.
Track 3. My boy only breaks his favorite toys.
This is a denial anthem dressed in bubblegum synth. It sounds sweet, but it's not. My boy only breaks his favorite toys is Taylor's quietest scream, where she knows the love is gone, but clings to it, the ghost of it anyway. The metaphor is devastating. She's the favorite toy, adored, then discarded. She justifies the neglect by remembering the glow of early days. You should see him on a good day. She's explaining away the bruises with nostalgia. That's not love. That's longing weaponized against yourself. The most haunting image, though, a talking doll stuck in loop. He loves me, he loves me. That's not just a lyric, it's a programmed script. She's not even convincing him anymore. She's trying to convince herself. The echoes aren't just sad, they're automated. And the bridge? Gutting. Just say when I'd play again. She's ready to re-enter the cycle just for crumbs of affection. It's emotional hunger masked as loyalty. A sandbox, a past tense best friend, a fairy tale life they made up. And she still wants it, even when it cuts. The agency check here is that there's no rescue arc, honestly, but there's awareness. She hasn't walked away yet, but she knows she should. And sometime, that's step 1.
Track 4. Down Bad.
Down Bad, crying at the gym, my favorite song! Down Bad is Taylor's Stockholm Syndrome song with glitter. It's heartbreak, UFO sighting, brief, spectacular, unbelievable, and now everyone thinks she made it up. The metaphor? Abduction. In a cloud of sparkling dust, for a moment I knew this was cosmic love. She's not describing a breakup, she's describing an event, a collision with a soulmate who felt more alien than real. And now she's crying at the gym, trying to get over the cosmic detonation by doing squats under fluorescent lights. It's pathetic in the most profound and human way. And yes, the space references aren't random, they're deliberate. Flying saucers, close encounters, waving at the ship. It's Taylor mourning a love so surreal that no one else even believes it happened. They'll say I'm nuts if I talk about the existence of you, like she dreamt it. But she didn't. The line that cuts the deepest? How dare you say that it's romantic, leaving me safe and stranded? It's the emotional climax. Her partner leaves, calls it protection, and expects a thank you. She flips the new romantic script from please leave me stranded, it's so romantic, to this. Because it's only romantic if they come back. But he didn't. And she couldn't even say it's over. But agency here is Taylor not just saying she's down bad. She's saying I believed you were real. I built my world around you. And now you've left me trying to make sense of my pain in a world that insists that all of it was in my head. And that's the real abduction here. She is chronicling what happened to her, how she felt, and it was true.
Track 5. So Long London.
I am at the church with this one. So Long London isn't just a breakup song, it's a burial. Not of a man, but of a dream she nurtured for 6 years and still had to let it die alone at the altar. This is what people expected TTPD to be, a track-by-track dissection of Joe Alwyn. But Taylor's already grieved that relationship in Lover, in Folklore, in Evermore, and in Midnights. By the time this song arrives, she is not processing. She is exhausted. I pulled him tighter each time he was drifting away. That's not poetic. It's CPR at this point. She loved him like a life raft, but eventually even she had to whisper DNR and walk out of the ER. I stopped CPR after all, it's no use. Brutal, final, honest. She left because he left first. Emotionally. You swore that you loved me, but where was the proof? It's not bitterness, it's clarity. This man didn't show up to the altar. She died there anyway. And the sound design, heartbeat rhythms echoing so long like wedding bells, gone ghostly. It is you're losing me's colder, cleaner sibling. She was locked out of the home she built inside him. She left standing in a house by the heath. She gave up everything to live in. Agency check? This isn't her saying he ruined me. It's her saying I waited, I sacrificed, I stayed, I fought, but alone. So Long London is what it sounds like when a woman stops begging to be understood and starts preparing her escape route.
Track 6. But Daddy, I love him.
Screaming that daddy, I love him. This isn't just a twangy throwback, it's a declaration of war. But Daddy I Love Him is Taylor Swift's country-coded battle cry against the parasocial Supreme Court that tried to cancel her wedding before the cake was even baked. It's going back to Love Story, honestly. So let's set the scene. Track 5, So Long London, buried her. Track 6 resurrects her with a banjo and a snarl. The sonic palette feels like if Love Story grew up, moved out, and started smoking cigarettes behind a church. It's giving Fearless by way of Reputation, filtered through SpeakUpNow stage lights. And lyrically, phew. This isn't about a man. It's about us, the fans, the media, the moralizing internet microgods, the TikTok think pieces, the fan unions demanding seasonal meetings with Taylor's management. Taylor sees your soliloquies, your concern trolling, your open letters, and she doesn't clap back. She just throws a desk unbuttered and runs screaming, "But Daddy, I love him!" And Daddy here, it's not her actual dad. It's the whole damn world telling her how to live. Let's be clear. This isn't some love-struck girl begging for permission. This is a woman dragging your pole clutching into the dirt. She name-checks Sarah and Hannah in this Sunday best and crucifies for Christian empathy and then hits the gas. I told him to floor it through the fences. She's not coming to her senses because sometimes agency is the mistake and she wants the right to make it. The bridge is devastating. I tell you about my good name, it's mine alone to disgrace. That's the core of this album. Taylor doesn't want your permission. She doesn't want your approval. She just wants to be allowed to crash and burn into peace and write a platinum album about it afterwards. Confession time, I didn't know what soliloquy meant, really. I had to Google that. But the more I know, it's like enjoying a Taylor Swift album and learning new words for free. And I absolutely love this song because agency in this track is the thesis of TTPD's emotional rebellion. Not all love is defensible, not all decisions are wise, but all people, especially women, deserve the freedom to choose. Taylor knows what you're saying, she just doesn't care. And the outro, her voice climbing like Ariel, gasping for air, "But Daddy, I love him!" isn't a cry, it's a warning. Don't mistake vulnerability for submission. We gotta support the women's rights and women wrongs.
Track 7. Fresh out the slammer.
Fresh out the slammer, I know who my first call will be to. Let's be real, this is like Cowboy Like Me's feral little sister. Picture Taylor in a dusty salon, cigarette in hand, boots on the bar, whispering, "I did my time." Fresh Out the Slammer is a jailbreak fantasy. The post-prison glow up, the sonic embodiment of tossing the key over your shoulder as you strut into a new chapter. Possibly someone else worse than before? But she paints her 6-year relationship not as a slow death, but as a solitary confinement. It wasn't abuse, it was inertia. "You don't understand me" isn't just a lament. It's a death sentence for someone who speaks in metaphor and dates of meanings. The relationship became a tunnel with no light, a sentence served out of obligation, not love. Enter the rebound, or maybe the real muse. It's messy, but it's intentional. Now I know who my first call will be to. It's not a coy flex, it's a declaration of preloaded agency. She doesn't stumble into freedom, she launches herself into it. But the song's brilliance is in its paradox. Freedom isn't peace. The 1 hour of sunshine metaphor, both prison policy and emotional metaphor, is brutal. When someone makes you believe scraps of affection are gourmet love, you stay longer than you should. But not anymore. She's fresh out, she's sprinting, and yes, she's running to him. The cyclone. Agency in this song is when Taylor reclaims the time she thought she lost. It's the sonic jailbreak where liberation means finally choosing herself. Even if the first stop post glamour is a mistake, mistakes are hers to make now.
Track 8, Florida.
If down bad is abduction via heartbreak, Florida with 3 exclamation points is the witnessed relocation program for emotionally scorched women. Taylor doesn't just escape here, she evaporates. You can't beat the heat if you beat the charges too. Sets the tone. We're not in reality anymore. We're in a pastel purgatory. The song is one long fever dream about the miracle move on drug. Love as narcotic. Florida as the trip. Taylor's home isn't where the heart is, it's the town you'll get arrested in. There's no affection here, only flight. Every lyric is soaked in delusion and SPF 50. Florence's verse is sublime chaos. All the bodies that have ever been on my body sinks into the swamp. The metaphor? She's trying to drown her past, emotionally, sexually, symbolically, in a Florida sinkhole. But even as she chants, "Take me to Florida," you feel it. She knows this isn't healing, it's hiding. This isn't agency through control though, it's agency through escape. Sometimes we don't run into something, we run away. And Florida, with 3 exclamation points, is proof that even the most powerful women in the world still dream of disappearing.
Track 9, Guilty as Sin.
Oh my goodness. Oh, sweetie. This song isn't a track. It's a confession booth with mood lightings. A moral panic you press play on. Taylor Swift's ovulation era erotic literature, and dare I say, the best song she's ever written about not having sex. Let's begin where she does. Drowning in the blue now. A band reference? Yes. But metaphorically, she's drowning in him. Him is equal to Joe, I guess, because the color blue, the emotional detachment, the grayscale existence, she has referenced him like that. And the relationship was quiet, cold, compassionate. This cage was once just fine, but now her burden is bone deep. The skeleton is yawning at this point. So what does she do? She dreams of cracking locks on the cage, on her thigh, on her moral compass, and she starts fantasizing about him, which here is Matty Healy. And he is the person who suggested that band. Oh my god, the Chaos Dragon is here! The tidal wave! The man who writes "Love It If We Made It" while chain smoking and just yapping through the worst things possible. And here's the brilliance though. This isn't a sex song. It's a self-sabotage fantasy. It's about wanting to blow up your life just to feel something. Am I bad or mad or wise? That's the entire moral question wrapped in one line. Are these sinful thoughts, or is it self-actualization? Is it guilty or clarity? Then the chorus, what if he's written mine on my upper thigh, only in my mind? Chills. She's not just talking about wanting him, she's branding herself with him, in imagination only though. This is a love song to fantasy. Nothing has happened, but she's so far gone, she's questioning her reality. And then she rolls the stone away. The bridge. The religious imagery reaches its fever pitch. She resurrects herself like Jesus from the tomb, crucified by public for choosing desire over duty. What if the way you hold me is actually what's holy? She's burning the church of politeness and rebranding it with lust and poetry. False God? Who? And the thesis statement, honestly, it feels like I keep recalling things we never did because the sin isn't action here. The sin is longing, and she knows that. The ache, the inability to stop seeing someone in Technicolor while your relationship plays in grayscale. And baby, if that's a sin, she is guilty as hell. And smiling in the mugshot. This is Taylor's thesis on moral desire, on longing that feels holier than marriage. And as she says, maybe they'll crucify me anyway, but at least she'll go down radiant and unapologetically alive. Agency here is in Taylor not just getting caught in this fantasy, but she's fully owning it. She's the architect of her desires, choosing to break free from the cage of expectations and rewrite what's sacred on her own terms and for herself. Greatest song ever written, kind of.
Track 10. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
Pray time, because you know those songs where you just don't hear the words, you taste the venom? This is that song. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me isn't written with a glitter gel pen or a vintage typewriter. It's written with a cursed dagger dipped in the blood of thousands of betrayals. This track is theatrical, sure, but don't mistake the drama for fiction. Taylor's not building a new myth here. She's tearing down the one you built around her. We open with the who's who of who's that, a dazzling swirl of the social elite, tabloids and ex-friends, sisters. It's not about one incident, it's about decades of scrutiny. She's not just referencing the media, the label, or even us as fans. She's stitching them all together into one monstrous portrait, the public gaze, that demanded that she be lovable, marketable, and silent. Lines like "My bare hands paved their way" are icy callbacks to Machine Records. How she built an empire with her pen, and they sold it out under her hat. But it's also bigger than that. She laid down the blueprint of how young women artists survive, barely in an industry designed to chew them up and smile. And then, if you wanted me dead, you should have just said the cheek of that line. It's a record scratch moment, a rupture, a woman who's leapt from the gallows too many times and refuses to die quietly. She levitates down your street, haunting, defiant, untouchable. The metaphor of circus comes in hot and heavy. Don't you worry, folks, we took out all her teeth. She is the declawed tiger, trained to perform, stripped of her bite, but still expected to dance. And if she finally breaks, well then, it's just another punchline. Is it a wonder I broke? Let's hear one more joke? She isn't just calling out the cruelty. She's naming the machine, the lawsuits, the drug acquisitions, the witch hunts. She's saying you turned me into a monster, then blamed me for roaring. This isn't about reclaiming agency. This is about confronting the theft of it. Taylor's not saying I survived, but she's saying you built this version of me. I was soft. I was real. You taught me to be terrifying. The girl in You're on Your Own Kid who made friendship bracelets just grew fangs. And the real horror, she still knows how to smile for the cameras.
Track 11. I Can Fix Him. No, really, I can.
We've all crushed on someone we know is trouble, right? And there's the relatability factor of this song because it's like you're trying to save a man that's dragging you. The first line nails it. It's like a freight train through a small town. This guy smokes on stage, tells awful loud jokes at bars, and made Taylor's name a target by association. People shake their heads saying, God help her, like she's got public judgment. But then Taylor flips it with, your good Lord doesn't need to lift a finger. She distances herself from faith and moral rescue. She's rejecting the need for divine intervention or approval. Verse 2 feels like Cowboy Like Me 2.0. Dopamine racing through a 6-lane Texas highway brain. Calloused pistol hands tracing hearts on her face. The shared roughness echoes their shared weapon, music. The intimacy here is raw and dangerous. The bridge is haunting. looping like a carousel you can't get off. It's seductive and cyclical, just like their relationship. Then comes the confession. I can fix him. The classic bad boy who only changes for you trope. But Taylor knows the truth by the end. Whoa, maybe I can't. That soft, almost whispered admission feels like a wild horse moment, realizing you're powerless to tame someone else. You thought you could be Bob the Builder and fix him, but that's not how it's going now, is it? Agency here is about delusion and surrender. Taylor's clinging to control. I can fix him, but then finally realizes maybe I can't. It cracks open the illusion. It's quiet, painful step towards accepting the reality.
Track 12, LOML.
LOML. Oh my god, this song. This song is an honorary track 5, an emotional centerpiece that hits like a freight train straight to the heart. A decade-long what if that finally flickered to life, only to fall apart before it could fully bloom. If you never got, at the very least, teary-eyed after listening to this song, at the very least again once in your lifetime, I'm scared of you. This song is probably the saddest one she has ever written. Right from the start, Taylor's talking about waltzing back into rekindled flames. That choice of waltz isn't accidental. It's a slow, graceful dance with a familiar rhythm, muscle memory, pulling her right back to someone she has known for years. It's not falling into a labyrinth, but stepping right back into it, revisiting memories stitched with pain and hope. This is a song about timing and longing. She was away, locked in another world for 6.5 years. But those years shaped them both. When they finally crossed paths again, it felt like everything was leading to this moment. A legendary chapter that heartbreakingly didn't last. The imagery throughout is cinematic and poetic. Embroidered memories, impressionist paintings of heaven that turned out to be fake. And the haunting line, you said I'm the love of your life about 1,000,000 times. Taylor reminded us she wasn't imagining this. These were promises made, dreams shared. But the contrast between hope and reality cuts deep. Two icons, two worlds, and a love story where the cool indie kid meets the iconic pop star. A mismatch that makes the highs feel higher and the lows devastatingly low. The reckless intensity of toxic love wrapped in nostalgia and regret. She calls the other person a con man, the ultimate get love quick scheme. It's a brilliant twist on the classic get rich quick scam. A relationship built on illusions and broken promises. And then the heartbreak. I should have let it stay buried, she sings, reflecting on the pain of digging up old wounds that maybe should have stayed closed. And the ending? The loss of my life. I get goosebumps still when I think about it. It's a gut punch. She never claims him as the love of her life. He said it to her. But Taylor knows better. She's lost something deeply important, but she's still standing. And that's powerful, bittersweet agency moment. The song is Taylor reclaiming her narrative. She's no longer the girl hoping to fix or hold on to a love that doesn't serve her. Instead, she's the woman who acknowledges the loss, feels the pain, and chooses to move forward. She's owning the heartbreak on her terms. Grieving, yes, but ultimately free to rewrite what love means for her.
Track 13, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
I can even do it with a broken heart. Okay, y'all, this song is everything. It's the glittery gel pen in Taylor's diary, the shimmering light after the storm, and honestly, after the emotional roller coaster we just took, thank God for this pick-me-up anthem because LOL killed me. I can't stop replaying this song. It's my personal, I'm depressed, but it's my birthday every say vibe. And honestly, who else gets that? Sonically, it's a beautiful cousin to Mastermind and Bejeweled. There's this subtle hum, like Taylor's backstage, heart raw but mind sharp, processing everything quietly. And then bam! The countdown hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, and suddenly it's showtime. The performer, Taylor, snaps into place, masking every raw nerve with polished perfection. This is the ultimate fake it till you make it anthem. And here's the real magic. The contrast between the verses and chorus is like a masterclass of duality. The verses, Taylor's inner world, vulnerable, aching, real. And the chorus, the stage persona, strong, untouchable. I got this. Because, yeah, she's telling us, but also convincing herself that, broken heart or not, she's unstoppable. Let's talk about agency in this song. This isn't about having to survive a heartbreak. Nope. It's about choosing to rise, to carry on, own the pain, and then still shine brighter. She's the boss of her story, wiping tears backstage and stepping into the spotlight with fire in her eyes. And the door performance, oh my god. The symbolism of her getting carried on the stage, iconic. It's the physical manifestation of support when you're at your lowest. Powerful, vulnerable, and utterly real. People are pushing her to, yes, get up, even if you can't. This song isn't just Taylor singing, it's an anthem for all of us who mask the mess and keep on going anyway. This is for anyone who's ever held back tears and put a smile on for the world. We see you. If this song doesn't make you want to shout, I can't even do it with a broken heart, then girl, what are we even doing? This track is all about reclaiming power and agency. Taylor's not just surviving heartbreak again, she's choosing to own it, but on a professional scale. It's a fierce reminder that even in vulnerability, even when she's down bad, even when she's crying, there's strength in her. And she calls her own shots while she moves forward. And it's a great reminder.
Track 14, The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
Welcome to the sharpest dagger in Taylor's quiver. If you thought debut Taylor was angry, hold on to your seats because this is Taylor's version of wrath. Pure, unfiltered, and beautifully brutal. This is a gradual banger of a track that simmers with quiet resentment before exploding into a full-on rage. From the opening question, was any of it true? Taylor pulls no punches, calling out the smallest man who ever lived for selling lies disguised in Jehovah's Witness suit. Someone promising salvation but delivering heartbreak. The lyrics trip with double meanings. Hung on the wall, stabbed with pushpins, idolized, then discarded. Publicly paraded, privately destroyed. She's painting a portrait of betrayal, so vivid it stings. And the line, you didn't measure up in any measure of a man. Chef's kiss. This isn't just a breakup song. It's a public shaming wrapped in poetic justice. Then the bridge. Oh, the bridge. Taylor's disbelief turns into incredulous fury as she asks if this was some cruel setup, a hitman sent to ruin her. The emotion is raw, almost cinematic, a true musical female rage moment. She's not just wounded, she's calling out the abuse of trust with holy fire. This song is Taylor reclaiming her narrative again, but she's refusing to be a silent victim in this one. She's the queen who never forgives the lie or the betrayal. I'll forget you, but never forgive. A powerful statement of agency and survival. Taylor doesn't just move on. She burns the bridges and sets the record straight on her terms. If this isn't catharsis and empowerment rolled into one, I don't know what is.
Track 15, The Alchemy.
I mean, I'm not sure if this is about Travis. That would be too on the nose for Taylor Swift, but it could be as well. I like to think about it that way, but I have my doubts. This could be about Matty as well. And Joe is the loser he would have bullied in school. This record is everywhere. So It could be anything, it's a composite sketch to me. It's like The Alchemy is Taylor's celebration anthem for beating the odds and owning your own comeback. It's happy, hopeful, and honestly kind of hilarious with all the sports metaphors sprinkled like confetti. It's this metaphor that makes you think maybe this is about Travis, but she has written about high school before, so it could be anything, honestly speaking. But the point is, Taylor is the eternal optimist here. Falls down 8 times and gets up to 9. After the heartbreak, the hospital, the madness, she's back. I circled you on the map is classic Taylor humor, poking fun at the idea that she puts this person on the map when really he was already a star. She's claiming him. She's saying, "You're coming home with me." And girl, she means business. And the chorus is basically a victory lap. The sign on your heart still says it's reserved for me. Taylor is not just back, she's reclaiming her throne as America's queen. And her use of the word blokes, oh my god, she has spent too much time with British people. But the bridge, shots of friends lifting you up, pure stadium energy. It's the euphoria of winning, the kind you only get when you've fought through the lows. It's this person running over to Taylor instead of sulking with the trophy. That's love and loyalty on full display that she deserved. The Alchemy is Taylor's unapologetic declaration of power and self-ownership. She is no longer the girl sidelined by heartbreak or doubt. She is the queen on her comeback tour, making her own destiny and claiming her victory out loud. This song isn't just about love, it's about triumph, resilience, and embracing your own alchemy.
Track 16, Clarabo.
Alright, we've reached the finale, Clarabo. Named after the original It Girl from the silent film era, this track is less about Taylor's personal relationship with fame and more about the brutal, never-ending cycle of the industry itself. It's an unflinching commentary on how women are constantly compared, pitted against each other, and how the spotlight is always looking for the next star. Taylor isn't saying Stevie Nicks replaced Clarabo. No, it's more like the industry always needs a new it girl, a new face to throw under the microscope. And Taylor calls herself the modern version of that, owning her place in this line of icons with both pride and knowing humility. How many times have we seen headlines asking if someone is the next Taylor Swift? Well, this song calls that out. It's a cycle. She's aware it's temporary, but she's still the real queen for now. I adore how Taylor weaves historical references with personal insight. Clarabo was the original it girl, Stevie Nicks is the rock legend, and Taylor's telling the next generation, "You look like Taylor Swift." I'm still not over that line. It's passing of the torch, but also a warning. The lyrics paint the industry as soulless beast. The crown is stained, she says. Not just a throne, but a throne covered in sweat, tears, and broken dreams of all the women who came before. The beauty is the beast that roars line. That's the endless pressure to be perfect, young, and more. The toxic chase that never ends. And then there's the brutally honest self-awareness. Taylor admits she never really had the edge they always looked for. She's the wholesome girl next door turned global icon. The industry uses that to uplift the new stars while sidelining her, but she knows the game. Clarabo is Taylor's power move. It's both a crown and a cage. She's owning her legacy, exposing the cutthroat reality behind glamour and warning the next generation. And at the same time, she's again claiming her agency because she's not just a player in this game. She's calling the rules out loud. She's showing us that beneath all this fame and glitz, there's a fierce, savvy woman steering her own story. And that's something that we can respect. Here's the real talk. The Tortured Poets department is way more than the clunky album it's been unfairly boxed into. This has been my heartfelt plea for the world to stop sleeping on it and to stop judging it by quick listens or buzzwords. It deserves, no, demands your full attention. So if you haven't fully listened to it yet, dive in now. This album's depth, pain and brilliance will hit different when you do. Trust me, it's Taylor at her most fearless and unforgettable, and I love this album. And I hope you do too.